Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Talk NY. Today, we are going to talk about something that many English learners know very well.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. I think this is a very important topic for people who are learning English.
Today, we are talking about the fear of speaking English. Why are so many people afraid to speak?
There are many reasons. Some people are afraid of making mistakes. Others are afraid that people will laugh at them or think their English is bad.
So, the problem is not always English itself. Sometimes the problem is confidence.
Exactly. A person may know many English words, but when they need to speak, they become nervous and forget everything.
That happens to many people. They study English at home, but when they meet an English speaker, they suddenly cannot say anything.
Yes, and this is completely normal. Speaking is a different skill from reading or studying grammar.
What can a person do when this happens?
The first thing is to stop trying to speak perfect English. Your goal should be communication, not perfection.
That sounds important. So making mistakes is okay.
Yes, absolutely. Mistakes are part of learning. When you make a mistake, you learn something new.
But many people feel embarrassed when they make a mistake.
I understand, but think about this. When someone is learning your language and makes a mistake, do you usually laugh at them?
No, usually I understand what they're trying to say, and I want to help them.
Exactly. Most people feel the same way when you speak English.
That is a good way to think about it. What is one simple exercise for people who are afraid to speak?
Start by speaking to yourself. You can describe what you are doing during the day.
Can you give us an example?
Of course, when you are making breakfast, you can say, I am making coffee. I am eating breakfast. Now I'm going to work.
So you can practice without another person.
Exactly. You can practice for 5 or 10 minutes every day.
And you do not need difficult vocabulary for this exercise.
Not at all. In fact, simple words are better for beginners.
What about people who are afraid to speak with other people?
Start with small conversations. You do not need to have a 30-minute conversation on your first day.
What would be a good first conversation?
You can start with simple questions like, how are you? Where are you from? Or what do you do?
These questions are easy, but they can help people become more comfortable.
Exactly. The goal is to practice speaking without feeling too much pressure.
What should someone do when they forget a word during a conversation?
Do not stop the conversation. Try to explain the word in another way.
Can you show us an example?
Sure. Imagine you forget the word umbrella. You can say, it is something I use when it rains.
That is very useful. So you do not need to know every word.
Correct. You can use other words to explain your idea.
What if someone speaks too fast and you cannot understand them?
You can politely ask them to speak more slowly. You can say, could you speak more slowly, please?
That is a very useful sentence for English learners.
Yes. You can also say, could you say that again, please?
Many beginners are afraid to ask someone to repeat something.
They should not be afraid. Asking someone to repeat is a normal part of communication.
What about pronunciation? Some people are afraid because they think their accent is bad.
Having an accent is normal. People from different countries have different accents, and that's okay.
So you do not need to sound like an American or British person.
Exactly. Your goal is to speak clearly enough for people to understand you.
I like that. Speak clearly, but do not worry about having a perfect accent.
Yes, communication is more important than sounding perfect.
Another problem is that people compare themselves with advanced English speakers.
That can make you feel frustrated. You should compare yourself with your past self instead.
What do you mean by that?
Think about your English 1 month ago. Maybe you could only say a few sentences. Today, maybe you can have a short conversation.
So we should look at our progress.
Exactly. Small progress is still progress.
What about someone who studies English every day but is still afraid to speak?
They probably need more speaking practice. Studying vocabulary and grammar is important, but you also need to use the language.
So learning English is a little like learning to ride a bicycle.
Yes, you can read about bicycles, watch videos, and learn the rules, but you need to ride the bicycle to improve.
That is a great example. You need to actually speak English to become comfortable speaking English.
Exactly.
What can someone do every morning to become more confident?
Spend 5 minutes speaking English aloud. Talk about your plans for the day.
For example,
You can say, today I am going to work. After work, I am going to the supermarket. Tonight, I am going to watch a movie.
That is very simple.
And that is the point. You do not need a complicated exercise. You need a simple exercise that you can repeat every day.
What about speaking in front of a group?
Start small. First, speak alone. Then, speak with one person. Later, try speaking with 2 or 3 people.
So we can slowly increase the challenge.
Yes, do not put yourself in the most difficult situation immediately.
What should people tell themselves before speaking English?
Tell yourself, I do not need to be perfect. I just need to communicate.
That is a powerful sentence.
Another good sentence is, it is okay to make mistakes.
And maybe, I'm learning and I'm getting better every day.
Exactly. Positive thoughts can help you feel more relaxed.
But what if the person makes a big mistake during a conversation?
Take a breath and continue. One mistake does not destroy a conversation.
That is important. Sometimes we make one mistake and then think the whole conversation is terrible.
Yes, but the other person may not even remember the mistake. We often worry much more than we need to.
So the fear is sometimes bigger in our mind than in real life.
Exactly. The more you practice, the smaller that fear becomes.
What is your final advice for someone who is listening right now and is afraid to speak English?
Start today. Speak a few simple sentences. Do not wait until your English is perfect.
And do not wait until you feel completely confident.
Right. Confidence comes from practice. You practice first, and confidence comes little by little.
So the secret is not to wait for confidence. The secret is to practice until you become more confident.
Exactly. Every time you speak, you are becoming a little stronger.
That is a great message to finish with.
Remember, your English does not need to be perfect. Your voice deserves to be heard.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. And to everyone listening, keep practicing and do not be afraid to speak English.
Thank you for listening to English Talk NY. Keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, do not be afraid to speak English.
See you next time.
See you.